what is the value of AST1, then the value of AST2, total AST, and AST1 2203.04. Okay. What is the value of AST2? 549. Total area of steel, and if we provide number of bars, let me know. 2752.2. Okay. Uh, how many number of bars and which diameter we have used? Number of bars 6. Okay. 25 mm diameter. Okay. So now moving further, now area of steel is over in tension zone. We have calculated area of steel in tension zone. Now we have to calculate the area of steel in compression zone. As you know, our section is doubly reinforced section. Your MU is greater than MU limiting, and XU is obviously then XU is greater than XU max. Okay. So now for this purpose, what we will do, we will calculate area of steel, and from where we will get the area of steel in compression zone. So you will use again the relation mu is equal to it is Cu into Z. Now for tension zone we have used Tu into Z. For compression zone we will use Cu into Z, and then this mu is equal to Cu into Z means what? Cu1 into Z1 plus Cu2 into Z2. This we are going to use. So therefore mu is equal to, now Cu1 into Z1. What is the value of Cu1? Cu1 is 0.36 FCK B, okay, into XU max. And what is the lever arm of this? The lever arm of this Z1 is D minus, it is D minus 0.42 XU max. Okay, so this is your Cu1 and Z1. Okay, plus plus Cu2 into Z2, it is FSC minus 0.446 FCK into ASC. Okay, so this is our, what we can say, Cu2, and multiply this by lever arm, it is D minus D dash. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, now so just you need to put the values in this formula, so we will get the answer. Therefore mu is equal to just put the values in this formula. Okay, you know all the values. So mu value is also known to us, total moment is also known to us. So what is the total moment? It is 240 into 10 raised to 6. You know that this is our total mu. Our mu limiting is 160 86.25 or something, and our mu2 is the difference of those two, that is 53 point something, we have already calculated. Now this total mu is 240 into 10 raised to 6. I have put the value over there. Then this is equal to 0.36 into FCK is 20 into B. B is the width of section, it is 250 into XU max is 265. Multiply this by D, depth of the section, it is 500 minus 0.42 into XU max is 265. Okay, so this is our first bracket, Cu1 into Z1 plus, now in the second bracket, FSC. So we need to calculate the value of FSC. So Fy, what is the grade of steel, it is given in the numerical. If it is 415 or 500, then we need to calculate the strain first. If Fy 250 is given, so FSC value we already know, 217.5, we have already calculated that value. Okay, so here it is 217.5 minus 0.446 into 20. Okay, so into ASC as it is, ASC as it is, then D minus D dash, D is 500 minus what is the effective cover in compression side, it is 50. So now you need to solve this equation so that we will get the value of area of steel in compression zone. Only ASC is unknown in this equation. So now let me know the value, do the calculation, let me know the value. 581.71. Okay, 581.71 mm square. So please check the answer. Okay, so now this is the area of steel. Now decide the bar diameter. Okay, now we need to decide the bar diameter. So let us assume that 16 mm diameter bar we are going to provide. Okay, assuming, so I will write here, assume 16 mm diameter bar. Okay, now if we assume 16 mm diameter bar, we need to calculate the number of bars. So to calculate the number of bars, I will write here number of bars is equal to, it is how much, 581.71 divided by pi by 4 into 16 square, area of single bar. So you will get the answer of this now. 2.89. Okay, 2.89. So which is nearly equal to 3 numbers. Okay. So we will provide okay, 3 bars of 16 mm diameter on compression side, on compression side. Okay, so if we draw the diagram of this, if we draw the diagram, then it will be, this is the cross section of our beam. Okay. Then here at the bottom 6 bars are there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, 6 bars are there at the bottom and 3 bars are there at the top. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so if you name these bars, if you name these, then this is the, then this bar, it is, these are the 3 bars of 16 mm diameter. Okay, then these bars are, it is 6 bars of 25 mm diameter. Then if you, this total distance is 250 mm. Okay, and effective depth in this case, this is our effective depth up to this point. Okay, so up to the center of these bars, okay, up to this point, this our effective depth is 500 mm. Okay, and also we have calculated the overall depth, that also you can put it over here. Okay, so now this is the reinforcement along the cross section of the beam. In this way we are going to provide the reinforcement, steel in compression zone and steel in tension zone. Okay, so this is the all the varieties of doubly reinforced sections also we have covered now. Now in this problem you can see the reverse is given, moment is given to us, and they told us to calculate the compression side reinforcement and tension side reinforcement. And also here in this problem depth was also unknown, so that depth also we have found out. So, and in the previous problems they gives us that compression side reinforcement, tension side reinforcement and the dimension of the beam, and they used to tell us to calculate the MR or MU. Okay, so both this problems we have covered now. So this is the last variety of problem in this unit. Okay, now we will move to the next, that is the design of continuous beams. Design of T beams we will take at the last. Now we will take the design of continuous beams, as you have already studied the design of continuous slab. So it will be more easier for you to design the continuous beam. So the design procedure for beam and slab is almost same. Okay, so we will move to the design of what we can say continuous beam. After that we will take the next unit, shear, bending and torsion. Then we will take design of columns, and at the last we will take this T beam. T beam there is only one or two problem. Okay, so we will move to the next. Here IS code is also required. Okay, so while designing the numerical, so we will use when, as and when it is required. So the next heading is design of design of continuous beam. Continuous beam by LSM, limit state method. Okay, design of continuous beams by LSM. Okay, so now what is the continuous beam? The beam which is continuous over the support. Okay, and it is having more than two supports. It's called as continuous beam. Okay, continuous beam is normally statically indeterminate structure. Now if I draw the diagram for this, so suppose now this is a beam, these are the supports of the beam. Okay, 3 and now 4. So here you can see this, here you can see this beam is supported at point A, then it is supported at point B, then it is supported at point C, and then there is a support at point D. Okay, now if I extend this line, okay, I will get one more support over here, and it is my support E, and this is the support E. Okay, so this is the support E. Now you can see this beam. I can say that this is my one span. AB is L1, BC is L2, CD is L3, and span DE is L4. Now this beam is having more than two supports. Any beam which consists of more than two supports, it is known as the continuous beam. Okay, the simple definition. More than two supports are there, then it is termed as a continuous beam. So this span AB, this span AB you are seeing over here, and this span DE. Okay, these two are called as the end spans. Okay, so I will write here this span, it is same as the continuous slab. We have studied this terminology in continuous slab also. These are the end span. This is end span, this is also what, end span. Okay, these two spans are called as interior spans or intermediate spans. These are the interior spans, or these are also called as intermediate spans. So this support, now if I highlight this support which is at point A. Okay, so this support, it is called as end support. This is called as end support. Similar to this side also, this support which is at point E, this is called as end support. Okay, end support. And these points with the support at B and D. Okay, if I draw it with see the supports at these points, this is your point B and this is your point D. Okay, so the support at this point it is called as support next to end support. This is called as support next to end support, these two. Okay, and the finally, if you see this support at point C, this is called as interior support or intermediate support. Okay. This is called as interior support or intermediate support. I hope now this is clear with you now. Okay, this we have already seen in the case of what we can say continuous slab also. Okay. So this is the basic diagram. Now here you can understand what is the meaning of end span, what is interior spans, okay, then what are the end supports, then what are the supports which is next to end supports, and the last interior support which is at the middle of this. Okay, interior support may be 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Okay, depending upon the span of the beam. So now if we talk about the general bending moment diagram of these continuous beams. Now again I will draw this continuous beam. So the supports are provided at different points. Suppose now these two are the end supports which are provided over here. Then here there is a one support, suppose. Then okay. So here there is another support and here there is one support. So this is the beam right now we are having. Okay. Now if I try to draw the bending moment diagram of this beam, okay, along here, then the bending moment diagram will be some bending moment is present at the end over here. It will be like this. This is the bending moment profile which I am drawing right now. Again there is a sagging bending moment at midspan. At support there is a hogging bending moment. Then again the sagging bending moment will be there at the span, and at the support again hogging moment is there. Again the sagging bending moment is there at the mid span, and hogging bending moment will be here. Okay, if I join this, so here you can see clearly that this is your negative bending moment, that is hogging. Here it is positive bending moment, this is negative bending moment, positive, negative, again positive, negative, positive, negative. So hogging bending moments are negative. Okay, so at this point, at point now A, this is our point B, C, D and E. Now see, I will talk about this. So at point A you can see the negative bending moment is there. So the bending moment at point A, you can see that the bending moment at the end of the end span. Okay, now here this positive bending moment is there in the end span, that is span AB and span DE. If we talk about span AB and span DE, these are two are the end spans. Okay, so now at the midspan of the end span you can see the positive moment is there at the midspan. Okay, then the support B and support D, these two supports are called as the support next to end support. Okay, these two supports are called as the supports next to end supports. So here you can see at point B and point D negative moment is there, that is the hogging moment is there. Okay, next the span BC and span CD, span BC and span CD, these two are the intermediate spans or interior spans, BC and CD. So at the midspan you can see BC and CD, the positive moment is there at the midspan, and while you see the support C, that is the interior support, so at the interior support negative bending moment is there. Okay, at the interior support negative bending moment is there. Okay, so this is the bending moment profile for this beam. and sometimes they will not give you the interior support. Sometimes your continuous beam is 3 span continuous beam. Now here you can see your beam is 4 span continuous beam. So AB is first span, BC is second span, CD is the third span, and DE is the fourth span. So if the fourth span continuous beam is there, then only you are getting the interior support, that is point C. If 3 span continuous beam is there, then in 3 span continuous beam, now suppose this E support is not there, beam is from A to D beam is there. Okay, this D span is not there. Suppose imagine this. Then what will be the thing? Then it will be AB and CD will be the end span, BC will be the intermediate span. So A support is the end support, D support is the end support, and support B and support C are the supports next to end support. There will not be any interior support in this case. Okay, so is it clear to all of you? So if you got this, whatever I am telling, then write something about the continuous beam, write some notes. Okay, so continuous beam, continuous beams. So for the continuous beams, you can write here the beam, the beam which is supported on more than more than two supports is called as continuous beam. Okay, continuous beam is statically indeterminate structure. Continuous beam is statically indeter statically indeterminate structure. Okay, now how to calculate the depth of the continuous beam? There is some thumb rule for the depth that we will see. Okay, so depth of continuous beam, depth of continuous beam. So the depth of continuous beam, it can be calculated as effective depth, effective depth, effective depth D is equal to span divided by 10. Statically determinate and statically indeterminate structures, these you have already learned in second year. In SOM also you learn these things. Hmm? Have you studied the structural analysis subject in the second year? Then you have studied the strength of material in second year. You have studied applied mechanics in first year. So statically determinate and statically indeterminate, these are very easy when your number of equilibrium equations are more than your number of unknowns. So you can solve your all the unknown component. You can find your all the reactions by using the equation of static equilibrium only. So those types of structures are comes under the statically determinate structures because we can find out the values of unknowns, that is the reaction, by using the equations of equilibrium. Okay, and what is statically indeterminate structure? To solve the numericals of statically indeterminate structure, now let us see here in this continuous beam. Okay, So now if you see this continuous beam here, one, two, how many supports are there? One, two, three, four, five supports are there. So how many unknowns are there? Five unknowns are there. And how many number of equations are available to solve the how many equations of equilibriums are there? Three equations of equilibrium are there. Summation m, summation fx, summation fy. So you cannot solve this structure. Okay, because the available equations are 3 with you and the number of unknowns are 5. So these type of structures are called as statically indeterminate structures. Okay, so this is the short introduction about it. I hope now you understood now what is statically determinate, statically indeterminate. Okay, when your number of unknowns are exceeds than 3, ओके, तीन पेक्षा जास्त जर तुमचे नंबर ऑफ अननोन्स वाढले, जर समजा एखाद्या स्ट्रक्चर मध्ये तुम्ही इक्वेशन किती वापरू शकता इक्विलिब्रियमचे, यू कॅन यूज ओनली थ्री इक्वेशन्स ऑफ इक्विलिब्रियम, समेशन एफ एक्स, समेशन एफ वाय अँड मुवमेंट ॲट एनी पॉइंट, समेशन एम. तीन इक्वेशन आहेत आपल्याकडे एक स्ट्रक्चर सॉल्व्ह करायला. पण जर त्या स्ट्रक्चर मध्ये तीन पेक्षा जर जास्त अननोन्स असले, म्हणजे नंबर ऑफ रिएक्शन समजा अननोन 4 आहेत, 5 आहेत, 6 आहेत, 7 आहेत, तर तुम्ही ते तीन इक्वेशन वापरून त्याला सॉल्व्हच करू शकत नाही. Okay, because you are having more number of unknowns. So this type of structures are statically indeterminate structures. Okay, now remember this, don't forget this. Okay, so now if we see while finding out the depth of the continuous beam, effective depth d is equal to span divided by 10. Okay, and the same is the thing, we are going to use the same clauses which we have used for the design of continuous slab. Okay, so now the details we will see in the numerical itself. Now we will take the numerical and we will solve that numerical step by step so that you will understand it better. Okay, instead of telling orally, directly we will take the numerical and we will try to solve it. So it is very much easier if you understand the design of continuous slab which we have taken already. Okay, then it is much more easier to you to design the continuous beam. So now I will write the numerical, you copy down it. Design a continuous reinforced concrete beam. Numerical is design a continuous reinforced concrete beam of rectangular section of rectangular section to support a dead load of to support a dead load. So dead load is given, dead load of 10 kilonewton per meter and and live load of 12 kilonewton per meter over the span of over the span of 6 meter, full stop. Okay, the ends are simply supported, the ends are simply supported, comma, adopt adopt grade of concrete, adopt M20 grade of concrete, M20 grade of concrete, adopt M20 grade of concrete and and Fe415 steel and Fe415 steel. Hmm? So this is the given problem. Now see what they have told us. Design a continuous beam of rectangular section to support a dead load of 10 kN per meter. So here you can see they have directly given you what is the value of dead load. Okay, in some numericals they may not give you this value directly 10 kilonewton per meter. They will tell you the beam of cross section 250 mm by 500 mm, 300 mm by 600 mm. Likewise these cross sections will be given to you. So on the based on those cross sectional dimensions you can calculate what is the self weight. Self weight means comes under dead load. Dead load means self weight. Okay, here it is directly given to you, so the dimensions of the beams are not given, and if the dimensions of the beam is given to you, then this dead load you need to calculate by yourself. ओके, म्हणजे आपण नॉर्मली काय करतो, समजायचे जर तुम्हाला इथे डायमेन्शन दिले असते, सपोज नाव द बीम इज ऑफ 250 by 500 mm. These are the cross section dimensions of the beam. Then what we generally do, we calculate the dead load as 0.25 into 0.5. We will calculate it as per meter length. So we will not take length and multiply it by 25. So what will be the value of this? This value will be in kilonewton per meter, and we will take the dead load. Okay, we will take the dead load when the cross section is given. Okay, when the cross section is given. Okay, I hope now you understood. Now here in this problem, cross section is not given to us. Cross section is not given to us. They have directly given us the dead load, which is 10 kilonewton per meter, and then live load 12 kilonewton per meter. Live load is always given to you in the problem. Remember this. Live load तुम्हाला कंटिन्युअस बीम वरती नेहमी त्यांनी दिलेलाच असणार प्रॉब्लेम मध्ये. 12 kilonewton per meter over a span of 6 meters. So the span is also given. Okay. So the here they have further told that the ends of the beams are simply supported. Okay. The ends of the beam are simply supported and adopt M20 grade of concrete and Fe415 steel. Okay. Also specify further that, or they have not given here, it is 3 span. They have just told us the continuous beam. They have not told us it is 3 span continuous beam, 2 span continuous beam, or 4 span continuous beam. Okay, so nothing is given to us, so we will consider it is 3 span continuous beam. Okay, so we will take this as a 3 span continuous beam and we will solve the problem. Okay, so now I will write here first effective span, what they have given, that we will write first. So sorry, so here the effective span, which is equal to how much, 6 meter. Okay, then dead load, which is equal to 10 kilonewton per meter. Then live load, which is equal to 12 kilonewton per meter. FCK 20 newton per mm square, that is 20 MPa. Fy 415 Newton per mm square, that is 415 MPa. Okay, so this is the given data with us now. Okay. So for the continuous beam, we will assume span to depth ratio as 10. Okay. So for the continuous beam, as we have discussed earlier, for the continuous beam, considering span to depth ratio as 10. Okay, so therefore span divided by depth is equal to 10. Okay. So therefore this is your depth D, this is your effective span L. So therefore depth D is equal to, it is your span to depth ratio. Now span we know that, so depth D is equal to, span is 6 meters, so it is 6000 mm divided by 10, which comes out to be 600 mm. Okay, so assume 30 mm clear cover and 20 mm bar diameter. So we can round up the depth now. Okay, so here this is your effective depth. Now here I will write assume 30 mm clear curve. For beam you can assume between 25 mm to 35 mm, 30 mm. Okay, 25 to 35 it is okay for beam. For column it is 40 mm. For footing it is 50 mm, and for slab it is 15 to 20 mm. Okay, so now 30 mm clear cover and let us assume 20 mm bar diameter. I will assume 20 mm bar diameter. Okay, so now what is the overall depth? Overall depth capital D is equal to, it is 600 plus 30 plus 20 by 2. So it works out to be 20 by 2 is 10, 10 plus 30, 40, it is 640 mm. Okay, so 640 mm. So instead of this 640, we will round this to 650. 640 is also okay, there is no problem. If you want to go with 640, then it is also okay, there is no problem. It is rounded up in the multiple of 5. So you can take that this depth also. But on site, if we think on site, if you provide this design on site actually, then instead of 640, many designers prefer 650. Okay, because measuring that dimension, it will be easier on the site. Okay, so we will round up this to 650. Again I am telling you, if you keep it 640 as it is, then also there is no problem. Okay, now I will take this depth as 650. So therefore overall depth is 650. So if we increase the overall depth, then our effective depth is also we need to increase. So therefore small d is equal to, it is 650 minus clear cover minus half of bar diameter. So it is 610. So our finalized depth dimensions are, okay, if I underline those, then 650 mm is our overall depth and our effective depth, it is 610 mm. Okay, जर तुम्ही 600 आणि 640 ठेवणार असाल तरी प्रॉब्लेम नाहीये. ओके, इट इज ऑलरेडी राउंडेड अप, नो प्रॉब्लेम. सो in design, see, in design your check is important, dimensions are not important. Whatever dimensions you have provided, those dimensions are, or those must sustain the shear force, bending moment, torsion that is developing on the member. If those are sufficient to tackle these forces, then the dimensions, any dimensions you are provided are what we can say best design dimensions. Okay, so now D is equal to, so this is the depth. Okay. So we will do the load calculations now. Okay, we will do the load calculations now. So here you can see in this problem, they have not given us the self weight of the beam. They have directly given us the dead load. Okay, sometimes they will give you the dead load as well as the cross section dimensions of the beam. Sometimes they only give you the dead load, they will not give you the cross sectional dimension of the beam. So in that case you need to calculate the self weight of the beam. Okay, and sometimes the dead load is not given and they only give you the cross sectional dimension of the beam. So you should take the total dead load as the cross sectional dimension of the beam. Okay, as I have what I have explained you earlier. So now Next thing is the load calculation. The load calculation, we don't know the width of the beam, so we will assume some width. So assume B is equal to 300 mm. Okay, where B is what? B is the width of beam that we have assumed. Okay, that dimension we have assumed. So B is equal to 300 mm. It is the width of the beam. So what is the overall size of section? Overall size of beam section is, it is 300 mm by 650 mm. So these are our cross sectional dimensions what we have considered. Now take the self weight of the beam. So the self weight of the beam, self weight of beam. So what is the self weight now? 0.3 is our width into 0.65 is our depth, multiply this by 25. Let me know the value. What is the self weight? 4.87. Okay, so it is 4.875 kilonewton per meter. So this is our self weight of the beam. Okay. So this is all comes under dead load. And what is the dead load given? Dead load, this is given already in the problem. Okay. So dead load given is 10 kilonewton per meter. This is the thing I want to tell you. Sometimes they will not give you this dead load. हे 10 तुम्हाला दिलेलं नसते, तर त्यावेळेला तुम्ही फक्त जे सेल्फ वेट जे आहे बीमचं तेवढाच तुमचा डेड लोड येणार. ओके, पण ज्या वेळेला तुम्हाला डेड लोड स्पेसिफिकली दिलेला आहे तर डेड लोड तो तर तुम्हाला घ्यावा लागणारच, प्लस तुम्हाला काय करावं लागेल की सेल्फ वेट ऑफ द बीम पण त्यामध्ये कन्सिडर करावं लागेल. जर त्यांनी प्रॉब्लेम मध्ये असं मेन्शन केलं की बीम कॅरीज अ डेड लोड ऑफ 10 kilonewton per meter including its self weight, जर असं दिलं असलं की including its self weight, तर मग तुम्हाला सेपरेटली सेल्फ वेट घ्यायची गरज नाही. पण असं काही प्रॉब्लेम मध्ये दिलेलं नाहीये. So that is why we are calculating the self weight exclusively and then we are going to added it. Okay, so now the total dead load. So now we will calculate total dead load. So total dead load, it is equal to 4.875 plus 10, so which is equal to 14.875 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so this is our total dead load. Now calculate the ultimate or factored dead load. So factored dead load, this is also called as ultimate dead load. So it is 1.5 into 14.875. So please calculate it. We were multiplying this by our factor of safety, 22.31. Okay, so it is 22.31 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so now this is total dead load. Now we already know the live load. Live load किती दिला आपल्याला? 12 दिलेला आहे. Now calculate the factored live load or ultimate live load. Factored live load, it is 1.5 into 12. So I think 12 is given now. 12. 18. Okay, so it is 18 kilonewton per meter. So now this is our loading calculation. Okay, So now we will calculate the bending moment calculation. Bending moment. Okay. So from where we are going to calculate the bending moment? From table number 12. Okay. IS 456 2000. That this table we have referred for continuous slab also. Same table we are going to refer for this continuous beam also. Okay. So now we will move there to the table number 12. This is our IS code now. Table number 12. Okay, before moving to table number 12, right now I am having one announcement for you that those students who have participated in the different activities here in the college, outside the college, online, offline, whatever may be paper presentation or any competition, quiz competition. So you have to upload your certificates on the link which is given to you by your class coordinator in the WhatsApp group from 2017-18 till date. Okay, or before that also if you are having anything you can upload it 17-18 to till date. Okay, it is compulsory to all. Hmm? At the time of now in this semester, at the time of giving your what we can say the term work marks, we are going to consider those things. Okay, so what is your participation? How actively you are doing the co-curricular activities also? That weightage is also we are having while giving you the marks. So if anybody have done it already, then don't be lazy to upload the documents. Upload it, you will get the benefit of it. Okay. So now I hope now you will do it. So now moving further to this what we can say table number 12 आपल्याला पाहिजे. We want table number 12. Okay, so now we will move to table number 12. So this is table number 11. Then after this the table number 12. So this table we have already used. Okay, so this is the table for the bending moment coefficients. Hmm. So now here if you see we have already seen this. This is the bending moment. This is the near middle of the end span, then middle of interior span, support next to end support, and all intermediate support. This is the dead load. Okay, this is for live load. These are the different coefficients which we have already used. Now, so we are assuming our beam is three span continuous beam. So now suppose I will draw over here. Okay. So this beam is our three span continuous beam. So these are the supports. Now this is the three span continuous beam. This we have assumed our beam is three span continuous beam because in the numerical it is not mentioned. So we have taken three span continuous beam. So now if you can see the bending moment is here middle of end support. So here what they have told this factor 1 by 12 it is for dead load and factor 1 by 10 it is for live load and where it is at the middle of end span. So middle of end span means here this is the middle of end span. What are the factors here? This is 1 by 12 and 1 by 10 for dead load and live load. Same thing will be here. It is 1 by 12 and 1 by 10. Okay, this is at the middle. Then what? Secondly, they have given middle of interior span. So this the next span is our interior span. I will show it by the green color. Okay, so in the interior span, what they have told us the factors are it is 1 by 16 and 1 by 12. So now this is our interior span, and at the center, what are the bending moment coefficients? 1 by 16 for dead load and 1 by 12 for live load. Okay, it is 1 by 16 and 1 by 12. And now support next to the end support. So the support next to end support. So this point A, and suppose now this is point B. These two are your end supports, and point C and point D both are the supports next to the end supports. Okay, so there is no interior support here in this 3 span continuous beam. ओके, तुमची बीम इज 3 स्पॅनच आहे कंटिन्युअस, त्याच्यामुळे याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला इंटिरियर सपोर्ट मिळाला नाही. जर 4 स्पॅन कंटिन्युअस बीम असली असती तर इंटिरियर सपोर्ट तिथे आला असता एक सेंटरला. नाउ ए सी अँड डी आर द सपोर्ट, सी अँड सपोर्ट. ओके, नावामध्ये गोळ झाला का जरा, ह्याला जरा आपण म्हणू दिस इज बी and this is C, and this last one is D. Okay, so A and D are your end supports, and B and C, those are the supports which is next to end supports. Okay, so these two are the, this A च्या नंतर कोण येतंय B, आणि इकडनं D च्या नंतर कोण येतंय C इकडं. So B and C are the supports which are next to end supports. So इथं जर तुम्हाला bending moment काढायची असेल at supports next to end support, तर obviously ती bending moment hogging bending moment असणार आहे, कारण इथं काय supports आहेत. So here what are the coefficients? So the coefficients are minus 1 by 10 and minus 1 by 9 for dead load and live load at both these points C and B. Okay, so in this way we are going to use this coefficients. Okay, so first of all we will calculate the bending moment at middle center of the end span, or at middle of the end span. Okay, so now we will move further. So write down these coefficients so that while calculating the bending moment you can tell me the values of the coefficients. So there is no need to share the screen. Continuously shift the screen. So now again we will come to our problem. Okay, so from here we will calculate the bending moment. So first at the end span, bending moment at end span, end span. So in the end span, first we will calculate at center of end span or at middle of end span. So at middle, or you can call this as center, middle of end span. So what is the formula? So bending moment is equal to, it is, coefficients are 1 by 12 for dead load and 1 by 16 for live load, and both are plus. So it is plus 1 by 12. Okay, WD. So W stands for load, D stands for dead load, and L effective square. WL square is the formula which we are going to take over here, plus again the coefficient is plus 1 by 10 WL live load into L effective square. This we have already seen in the case of continuous slab. So I am assuming that you already know these things. So now here it is plus 1 by 12 into what is our dead load? Our dead load is 22.31. Okay, and our span is 6 meter. Okay, plus here it is 1 by 10 into live load is 18 into 6 square. So now calculate this and let me know the value of bending moment. 131.73. Okay, so this value is 131.73 kilonewton meter. Okay, now calculate at support next to end support, and so at support next to end support. Okay, so here the bending moment coefficients are Now we are calculating at the end supports, next to the end support, so coefficients are negative. It is minus 1 by 10 and minus 1 by 9. So here it is minus 1 by 10 WD into L effective square plus again minus 1 by 9 into WL into L effective square. Now you know the values, just put the values. So we will get the answer. Bending moment is equal to minus 152.31. Okay. So the answer is minus 152.31 kilonewton meter. Now the next thing is second at middle of interior span. Okay. So at middle of interior span. So what are the coefficients? 1 by 16 and 1 by 12. Okay. So here the bending moment is equal to it is 1 by 16. Please check the coefficients also. 1 by 16 WD into L effective square plus it is 1 by 12 into WL into L effective square. Just put the values. Bending moment is equal to it is 1 by 16 into WD dead load 22.31 into 6 square plus 1 by 12, this is plus value, into 18 into 6 square. 104.19. Okay, 104.19 kilonewton meter. So here I will write now the maximum positive bending moment and maximum negative bending moment. Okay, so the maximum positive, that is sagging bending moment, positive bending moment is equal to, it is plus 131.73 kilonewton meter. There is no need to write the plus, as we have already mentioning it is maximum positive moment, and then maximum negative moment, maximum negative bending moment, which is equal to, it is 152.31. This is your maximum negative bending moment. Okay, so now we will check our depth provided for the maximum bending moment. So we both, what is the maximum value out of these two? It is 152. Although it is a negative, that is Hawking bending moment, but it is having the maximum algebraic value. So always we check our dimensions to the maximum depth. Okay, sorry, maximum bending moment. So now next step is check for depth. So the next step is, after the calculation of bending moment, next is the check for depth. So how do we do the check for depth? Equate bending moment to moment of resistance. Okay. So what is our maximum bending moment? It is 152.31 kilonewton meter. So into 10 to the power 6 Newton mm, which is equal to, now Fe415 is there. So 0.138 FCK, FCK is 20, into BD square. B we have assumed 300 into D required square. So therefore the required depth is 428.89. Okay, so it is 428.89 mm. Okay, which is less than D provided. What depth we have provided? 610. So it is overset. Okay, 610. Hence it is safe. Hence it is safe. Okay. So now this is the check for depth. Now after this we will calculate the steel. Okay, so we will calculate the steel for the. So next steel calculation. So our maximum positive moment is 131.73. For that also we will calculate the steel, and for the maximum negative moment, for that also we will calculate the steel, and accordingly we provide the steel reinforcement. Okay. So here what we will do now, steel reinforcement I will write over here, steel reinforcement. So you know the formula, AST is equal to 0.5 FCK BD divided by Fy. Here 1 minus under root 1 minus 4.6 mu upon FCK BD square. So this is the formula for AST. Now put all the values. So now AST is equal to 0.5 FCK BD divided by Fy in bracket 1 minus under root 1 minus 4.6 into mu. Mu first we will consider the positive moment, 131.73 into 10 raised to 6 divided by FCKBD square, 20 into 300 into 610 square. So after solving this you will get the value of AST. Solve it and let me know the answer. 645.69. Please check the answers. 645.69. Okay. Now at the start we have assumed 20 mm bar diameter. So let us continue that diameter. 20 mm we have already assumed while calculating the overall depth. So let us continue that diameter and calculate the number of bars. So here I will write just considering 20 mm bar diameter. Okay. So now calculate the number of bars. Number of bars is equal to our total area of steel, it is 645.69 divided by area of single bar, 5 by 4 into 20 square. So do it and let me know the answer. 2.05. Okay, good. So 2.05 म्हणजे किती बार प्रोव्हाइड करणार आपण? 3 numbers. तीन बार आपण प्रोव्हाइड करणार आहे. सो provide 3 bars of 20 mm diameter. ओके, कुठं प्रोव्हाइड करणार आपण हे बार? तुम्ही कुठली बेंडिंग मुवमेंट घेतलेली आहे? विच बेंडिंग मुवमेंट वी हॅव कन्सिडर्ड? 131.73. So it is positive bending moment. So it is sagging bending moment. And this bending moment is at the center of the span. Okay, at the bottom because it is sagging. So provide 3 bars of 20 mm diameter at soffit of the beam or at bottom of beam. At bottom of beam. Okay. Now calculate the AST provided. So AST provided is equal to what? AST we have provided 3 bars each of 20 mm diameter. 942.47. Okay. So this value works out to be 942.47 mm square. Okay. This value is 942.27 mm square. And so next is our bending moment. You can also calculate the percentage of steel further. नेहमी काढूनच ठेवत जाऊ पर्सेंटेज ऑफ स्टील. आपल्याला लागत असू दे नसू दे तरी काढून ठेवत जाऊ. सो पर्सेंटेज ऑफ स्टील PT, it is 100 into AST, 100 AST divided by BD. Just put the values in the formula. So 100 into AST means AST provided 942.27 divided by B. B is our 300 is the width and D is 610. 0.51. Okay. So 0.51 I will take here. 0.51%. This is the percentage. Okay, percentage of steel. What percentage of steel we are providing at the bottom? Okay. So now calculate similarly the steel for maximum negative moment. Okay. So what is the maximum negative moment? That is the hogging moment. So maximum negative moment, is equal to, it is 152.31 kilonewton meter. So repeat all the steps. Calculate the value of AST now. Again, you know the formula. Just put the values and let me know the value of AST. I will not write it once again. Here the formula is there. AST formula is there. Here in this formula, just instead of 131.73, you need to put the value here. 131.73 च्या ऐवजी तुम्हाला ही बेंडिंग मोमेंट ठेवायची आहे 152.31. Rest all the quantities will remain same. So let me know the answer of this. It is 756.86 mm square. Okay. So again take the 20 mm bar diameter and calculate number of bars. Calculate the number of bars now. Again take the same number of bar diameter. 4. Okay. So 2.4, which will be round up to 3 numbers again. So provide, here you can say provide 3 bars of 20 mm diameter at top of beam. Okay. So now calculate the percent AST provided and percentage of steel. So AST provided is 3 into 5 by 4 into 20 square. 645.69. This we have already calculated, no? 645.69. Calculate केले वाटते की मागं. Okay, please check the values. 942. Okay. Okay. So this is 942.47. Now again calculate the percentage of steel PT. This percentage of steel will be at the support, okay, which is next to end support. At that point we have calculated this. So it is again 100 AST provided divided by B into D, and it is again 0.51%, I guess so. Okay, 0.51%. Now you know that in the beam we need to provide the stirrups also. Okay, in slab we will not provide the stirrups, but in beams and columns we need to provide the stirrups. So to provide the stirrups we should design the shear reinforcement. Okay, stirrups म्हणजे काय सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे, I hope now. Suppose this is the cross section of the beam. Okay, and now if some bars are provided at the top, suppose some bars are provided at the top and some bars are provided at the bottom. Okay. So to hold these bars at this position and to resist the shear, a ring is provided like this. Okay, it is provided like this, and a hook is there somewhere. So this is called as stirrups. On साइट वरती वापरला जाणारा शब्द याला रिंगा म्हणतात बघा. रिंगा. इफ यू तुम्ही कधी कुठल्या साइट वरती गेला असाल, कुठल्या मिस्त्रीला जर विचारलं तर ही विल कॉल्ड इट ॲज रिंग. कॉलम मध्ये रिंग आहेत का नाही, बीम मध्ये रिंग टाकल्यात का नाही. So these are called as stirrups. Okay, basically these are called as stirrups, and these stirrups are designed to take the shear reinforcement. Okay, if you don't provide these stirrups in the beam, then beam may be failed due to shear. Okay, so remember this, in column we try avoid to provide the stirrups. कॉलम मध्ये आपण आपलं सॉरी कॉलम नाही, स्लॅब मध्ये आपण स्टिरप्स प्रोव्हाइड करत नाही. स्लॅब मध्ये वी विल अवॉइड टू प्रोव्हाइड द स्टिरप्स बिकॉज in slab the shear force is very less, so therefore there is no need to provide the stirrups. So just we take the check for shear, it comes always it comes satisfied, and we don't provide the stirrup. But in the case of beams that is not the case, as you know that beams are subjected to the shear force and high shear force. So that is why there is a need to provide the stirrups in the beam, and providing the stirrups in the beam, that process it comes under the heading of shear reinforcement. This is called as shear reinforcement. These stirrups are provided to resist the shear. Okay, so now we will move further. I will give the heading now, shear reinforcement. Shear reinforcement slab मध्ये सुद्धा आपण घेत होतो बघा, चेक फॉर shear. Okay, पण तो satisfied यायचा. Now we will see in the case of beam what is there in the case of this continuous beam. Okay. So the shear reinforcement is provided as per table number 13. Okay, table number 13, page number 36, IS 456-2000. हे लिहून घ्या, परत परत मी सारखं सारखं सांगणार नाही कुठल्या पेज वरती काय आहे ते. So table number 13, IS 456-2000, shear reinforcement. So according to that table, shear force VU, okay, so the maximum shear force VU Vu is equal to notation for shear force Vu. It can be calculated as zero point 0.6 is the coefficient for dead load as well as zero point 0.6 is the coefficient for live load. So dead load into effective span plus 0.6 live load into effective span. I will show it to you. Write down this formula. Okay, and now I will show you where it is given. So here, if you go to the IS code, now here in this IS code, if you see, this is our table number 13. Now this is the dead load. This is your dead load. This is live load. And see the maximum coefficient. Okay. So the maximum value is of the coefficient is 0.6. This is the maximum value. From this value, we will get the maximum shear force. Okay, maximum shear force, and this will occur at the support next to the end support. This will occur at the support next to the end support. This 0.6, 0.6. Okay, so now so here this is the maximum shear force at the support next to end support. So therefore, Vu is equal to, it is 0.6 into dead load 22.31 into effective span is 6 plus again 0.6 into live load, it is 18 into again span is 6. Therefore our shear force is Vu is equal to 145.116. Okay. So this is our shear force next to the end support. So now calculate the nominal shear stress. So nominal shear stress. You know the formula. Nominal shear stress means tau V. Tau V is equal to what? Vu upon Bd. So Vu 145.116. Okay. This is in kilonewton. So multiplied by 10 raised to 3 divided by B is 3000. B is 610. We need to check that now. Tau V is greater than tau C or tau V is less than tau C. If your tau V is less than tau C, that is the permissible shear stress is tau C, and nominal shear stress, that is shear stress developed in the beam, it is tau V. Now whatever we are this value writing over here, 0.792 Newton per mm square, ही जी व्हॅल्यू आहे 0.792, दिस इज द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ tau V. tau V म्हणजे काय की एवढा शियर स्ट्रेस या बीम मध्ये सध्याला डेव्हलप होतोय. समजतंय. नॉमिनल शियर स्ट्रेस मीन्स हा शियर स्ट्रेस सध्याला बीम मध्ये डेव्हलप झालेला आहे ड्यू टू द ऍक्टिंग लोड, म्हणजे आहे हा बीम मध्ये. तर आता आपल्याला काय करायचंय, नाउ व्हॉट वी आर गोइंग टू डू, वी विल कॅल्क्युलेट द परमिसिबल शियर स्ट्रेस. आणि परमिसिबल शियर स्ट्रेसला आपण काय म्हणतो, टाउ सी म्हणतो. सो परमिसिबल शियर स्ट्रेस आपण कॅल्क्युलेट करून घेणार आयएस कोड मधून. नाउ वी विल गो टू टेबल नंबर 23 आणि टेबल नंबर 23 मधून आपण काय करणार आहोत, तर परमिसिबल शियर स्ट्रेस काढणार टाउ सी. आणि मग तुमचा डेव्हलप झालेला शियर स्ट्रेस हा परमिसिबल शियर स्ट्रेस पेक्षा कमी असला तर शियर रिइन्फोर्समेंटची गरज नाही. पण जर अलावेबल किंवा परमिसिबल शियर स्ट्रेस पेक्षा तुमचा जर डेव्हलप झालेला हा जो टाउ व्ही आहे नॉमिनल शियर स्ट्रेस, हा जर जास्त असेल तर जेवढा जास्त असेल तेवढ्या जास्त ह्याला आपल्याला स्टिरअप्स प्रोव्हाइड कराव्या लागणार आहेत. Okay, so now this is the half of the part. We have calculated the value of tau v. Okay, now we know what is the percentage of steel over here. So the percentage of steel at the support which is next to end support, that we have already calculated, it is 0.51%. This is our percentage of steel. So based on this percentage of steel we will calculate the value of tau c. So I will write here from table number 23. Okay, table number 23, page number 54. IS 456-2000. So the permissible value of tau c is, so I will write here permissible shear stress, permissible shear stress tau c. I hope now you are understanding the explanation whatever I am giving. Okay, tau c म्हणजे आता अलाउड किती आहे ते बघायला लागलोय आपण. So now we will move to the IS code again. Okay, now we have to go to page number 54. It is not on page number 54. I think here the page number is wrongly written. We will search the table number 23. I think it is on page number 70 or somewhere there. We will see. It is not 54. I think it may be 74. Okay, so here, what is the maximum shear stress now? Tau C max for M20 grade of concrete. It should be 2.8. It should not be greater than 2.8. Okay, the first thing is here, the maximum shear stress tau c max. So our shear stress is less than the tau c max, so it is okay. Okay, so I will search here first the page number 23, table number 23, where it is given or it is wrongly written, that I need to find out. Okay, so this is table number 23. Okay, on page number 84, it is not 54. Make the correction. Page number 84. Table number 23, page number 84. So permissible shear stresses in concrete. Okay, this we need to use over here. Okay, this we need to use over here. So for what value we want it? So here if I see the percentage of steel is 0.51%. Our grade of concrete is M20, and these are the values of tau c for beams. So now this is the value. We will take this 0.5, 0.30, 0.75, 0.35, and we need to do the interpolation. Okay, what we need to do? We need to do the interpolation and calculate the value of tau c. Okay, so here we can write for 0.5 the value is 0.30, 0.75 the value is 0.35. Okay, so now calculate it for 0.51. Let me know the answer. Do the interpolation and let me know the answer. So fast, do the calculation and let me know the answer. Again it is same 0.3. The answer is 0.3. Okay. So now we will move to our whiteboard. So here this is not 54, this is 84. So the value of permissible shear stress is 0.3 Newton per mm square. आता बघा परमिसिबल किती आहे 0.3 म्हणजे 0.3 अलाउड आहे आणि डेव्हलप किती व्हायला लागलेलं आहे 0.79 म्हणजे जवळपास 0.8. 0.79 म्हणजे 0.8 झालं ना 0.8 डेव्हलप व्हायला लागलेलं आहे आणि तुम्हाला परमिशन कितीची आहे परमिसिबल किती आहे 0.3 म्हणजे एक्सेस किती डेव्हलप व्हायला लागलेला आहे 0.5. मग या एक्सेस 0.5 मुळे काय होऊ शकतंय तर बीम फेल होऊ शकते. मग ह्याला जर आपल्याला फेल होऊ द्यायचं नसेल तर ह्या एक्सेस 0.5 जो शियर स्ट्रेस आहे ह्याला कोणीतरी रेजिस्ट करायला पाहिजे आणि ते रेजिस्ट कोण करतं तर स्टिरअप्स करते म्हणून आपण स्टिरअप्स प्रोव्हाइड करतो. Okay, so here I can write our developed shear stress tau v is greater than the permissible shear stress. So therefore, shear reinforcement shear reinforcement is required. Shear reinforcement is required. Okay. So now today we will stop over here up to this point. you study all the steps, you see all the steps, and tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever our lecture is there, we will take the design of these syrups. Okay, so today we will stop over here.